Okay, so moving into your preparation and training, just a bit about the insights into what you do in the lead up to games. In terms of your sort of normal practice sessions, what would that sort of consist of?
Pretty much a few throws, making sure my feet are moving properly and stuff. And then a bit of dog stick and facing spin. I don't really like facing the quick bowlers in the nets. I feel really claustrophobic and feel like I don't move properly. So yeah, I try and avoid, unless it's like a middle practice where you've got a bit more open space. I try and avoid facing the seamers. But yeah, I just sort of make sure that I try and make my sessions a more feel good unless I'm working on something specific. But yeah, certainly leading up to tournaments, I'll do that. And if things go really well in tournaments, I tend to not hit too many balls in between games. I prefer to just go from game to game and sort of try and ride that wave and stay on a roll. If things go badly, then obviously you've got to start working on different things and making sure you can get back to when you're playing your best cricket. But yeah, certainly my training sessions, they're nothing spectacular. I'll hit a few throws, smack some dog stick, or slinger or whatever people call it, face some spin, and then that's me.
Is there any machine work on there as well?
No, I hate using machines. I haven't used a machine for the last 6 or 7 years. I find my movements don't work well enough. You don't quite get the cues of a bowler loading up. It's just straight out of a machine. So I find it doesn't do anything for me, and I find it really difficult to time my movements. So yeah, I don't ever use a machine, to be honest.
And then in terms of your fitness, what sort of stuff are you doing for that? Is it cardio and sort of strength training as well?
Yeah, a lot of speed work. Pretty much sort of define yourself as an athlete and work along those lines. So I'm not really the most stamina gifted athlete. I'm pretty much speed and power. So yeah, trying to work as much as I can on getting faster, getting stronger, and yeah, some time in the gym. Trying to work on some speed sessions. And yeah, making sure that we get the odd CV session in along the way to make sure that you can sort of still be smacking the ball as far as you can in your 60th ball than what you are in your first. So yeah, my training away from cricket, yeah, is more power, speed, orientated than anything else. So it's quite cool training actually. It's more exciting than having set on a treadmill and running 2K on that.
Yeah. And then in terms of your actual preparation on a match day, is that literally just a few throwdowns?
Do you know what I used to county cricket? You feel like you've got to hit balls before a game, and I always used to have a net. And whether the surfaces were good or not, I would go and have a net. And half the time, the surfaces are terrible, and you come out of that net feeling horrendous. And then you've got to go and bat in a game an hour later. So I quickly moved away from that to hitting a few underarms. And during the 100, there was literally no time for anything. We would play after the women. There was about 40 minutes between the games. And one game, I think it was the second game, I completely forgot to have a hit. And I was like, I got upstairs and I was like, I've bowled, I've caught my catches. I haven't had a hit, and things went really well. And I was like, do you know what? Your preparation is done. Like, there's what is having a hit going to do? You might bat 2 hours time.
Yeah.
Is hitting a few underarms 2 hours before the game going to actually help you when you come to bat in 3 hours time or whenever it is? So as the 100 went on, I actually didn't even hit any balls before a game. I would literally just go straight in, and I guess it doesn't give you any time to hit badly. And if things are going really well, why change it? Why hit a couple of balls that don't come out the middle, and all of a sudden you feel as though something's wrong, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? So yeah, doing less and less has really helped me just take the confidence from the last game into the next game. And there's probably going to be some times where things don't go quite as well, but I guess the key is not to change it, to trust that everything you do is for the right reason. And yeah, I guess if I feel like it, I'll hit a few rounds before a game just to get a couple out the middle of the bat. But I don't really think it's necessary. It's more my bowling. I need to make sure that I've got confidence in that before I go out to bat. And it's obviously you've got to take some catches before a game to make sure that you get used to the lights or the sky or whatever it is. But yeah, batting wise, yeah, sometimes we may overcomplicate things. We may think too much about it, because how often do you face someone 10 yards away bowling underarm at you? Pretty much never. Or you can face someone who's bowling properly at you on a really bad wicket and you're about to go and play on a belter. So, yeah, I guess maybe sometimes as cricketers we actually overthink things, and it's actually a pretty simple game where you just turn up and you go and play, and the actual hard work that you've done over however many years is actually has set you up to go and perform in that game.
You're obviously renowned for your boundary hitting. Is range hitting something you practice in training as well?
Not really. I know a lot of the boys go out in the middle and try and do some range hitting, and I very rarely do it, to be honest. I have confidence that I can clear most boundaries. I play at Old Trafford, and the pitches are usually quite slow, and the boundaries are as big as you'll get in pretty much world cricket. So I know that I can clear the boundaries there, and I probably have confidence in clearing many boundaries in the world. So it's not something that I feel like I need the confidence of doing. I feel like I've already got that confidence. It's more so my striking ability that if I don't think that's quite on, I'll smack a few in the nets, but certainly don't have to do it out in the middle to make sure that I can clear different boundaries. I already have the confidence in my ability to do that. It's just making sure that I've got the consistency of strike that I need.
And in terms of facing sort of spin and the seam, is there something different you do? I know England for a period were lower to spinners in order to get down the wicket and pick up the flight. Is there something you differ between the two?
I do have two different techniques. Yeah, yeah, it's just two different stances. I start with my bat on the floor against spin. I start with my bat in the air against seam.
Right.
So yes, I do have two different stances. I guess you have two different game plans. So yeah, it's not something that is too different. I think it's just normal now in cricket. I think many people have different stances for different bowlers. So yeah, it's certainly something that I have. I have a very different game plan, and I have a very different setup. So I guess yeah, you sort of lower to make sure that you can get right out to the ball or get right away from the ball. You don't really need to use that ability against seam because you've already got the pace to work with.
And is that more helps moving your feet as well to spin, where seam you could probably stand still a bit more?
Yeah, like against spin, you've got to either get right out to it or right away from it. I guess it's probably a little bit different in facing seam. You probably don't want to get too close to the ball. You want to sort of give your hands time and room to get through and hit sixes that way. So yeah, they're two different techniques, and I guess over the years they've sort of just built their own way into my game, and yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with where they both are at the moment.
And in terms of sort of switching off at the non-strikers end, is there anything you do just to sort of not be fully focused on the game the whole time?
No, I've worked the last sort of 18 months. I've realised that cricket isn't the most rewarding sport. There's going to be times when you get out, and I've almost come to accept that sometimes you actually fail more times than you succeed in cricket, and that's just the nature of our sport. And I've become really relaxed whenever I go out to bat, and I've just been really enjoying my cricket over the last 18 months. And I guess yeah, I don't put too much pressure on myself. I'm not really switched on. Whenever obviously you get yourself in the battle and you get yourself in the moment, but certainly not. I don't really use techniques to switch on and switch off. I feel like I'm just really relaxed the whole time we play, and thankfully over the last couple of months it's gone really well for me. And yeah, I guess I don't really think about too much when I go out to bat. It's probably just you get yourself into the match situation and you know what you need to do and you go from there. But yeah, it's not switching on and switching off is not really something that that I really do. I know some people have different routines that switches them on before the ball and then switches off straight. It's not something I really do. So yeah, it's certainly not something I try and concentrate on.
And in terms of any superstitions, right pad on first or something like that, or
Yeah, my left pad goes on first. My left glove goes on first. I step onto the pitch with left foot first. I try and avoid lines.
you
Yeah, just the
left-footed?
general. No, I'm right-footed. I don't know why that's even come in. Yeah, I think we're just weird people as cricketers. We find ways to get it into our head. I always tap my bat 3 times before I face a ball. And sometimes if you get rushed by a bowler and you haven't got your 3 taps in, you've got to step away. Yeah, I think we're just a weird breed, aren't we? Cricket players just make up things that have to go on for you to succeed. Otherwise, it can't happen. So yeah, thankfully, it's more like a mental thing. It just happens now. It's not something I really think about. So I know a lot of people have got it worse than what I have.
Yeah. And then in terms of goal setting, do you set goals ahead of matches, seasons, series, or is it just sort of like you play every game as it comes?
Yeah, every game as it comes. I used to set goals as a young professional, and they just don't work for me. If you have a couple of bad games, you start fretting that you're not going to reach your target of runs or whatever. And I used to think so much about playing for England and what I had to do this season. I've got to score 1,000 runs to get back into an England squad, and it just didn't work for me. So I've gone back to just taking every day as it comes, every game as it comes, and just gone back to enjoying cricket and enjoying entertaining people, enjoying playing the game that I grew up loving. And I guess I've gone back to that sort of 10, 11, 12-year-old kid in the back garden that used to just love playing cricket and smacking cricket balls, and ultimately I'm doing the same thing, just on a bigger stage. So yeah, I've come to really got back to enjoying the game, and yeah, not putting too much pressure on myself. And thankfully, it's all worked out really well for me over the last couple of months, and hopefully, long may it continue.
And in terms of advice, what's the best bit of advice you've ever been given, and what would you give, your young self if you were coming back through the ranks now?
I the trust in my own game, trust in my natural ability was probably the best bit of advice I was ever given. And just being you. Don't change because a coach tells you need to do this or you need to do that. Be who you are. Your game will work around who you are, and your game will get better and better as you grow up as a person. And ultimately, your game will expand as you play more cricket. But certainly, if I was to give a kid some advice, whatever you do to enjoy cricket, keep doing it. If you enjoy smacking sixes, go out and do it. And sometimes it's not going to come off. If you enjoy playing lovely straight drives, go out and do it. As you grow up and grow older, you'll learn to smack balls if you love playing with a straight bat, or if you enjoy smacking balls, you'll learn how to play a nice cover drive as you grow older. So yeah, whatever you do to enjoy playing cricket, make sure you keep doing it.
And then how do you switch off outside of cricket? Obviously, you've got a pretty full on schedule. Probably 12 months of the year.
Yeah, I'm become very good at whatever happens and leaving it there. I had a couple of bad experiences growing up with cricket, being told I wasn't good enough, getting abused after that England performance, getting abused after a couple of bad bowling performances for Lancs, and I guess I've come to the stage now where it doesn't really matter. Every day is a different day. The sun will come up in the morning, whether I've played really well or really badly, trying to stay level headed. I accept that bad performances come, and just because you got naught one day, it doesn't mean that you can't go out and score 100 the day after. And I guess if you spend too much dwelling on previous performances, you sort of lose of the opportunities that are coming ahead. So yeah, as soon as I leave a cricket ground, it's done. The game's done. We're on to the next game, and I spend a lot of time yeah, watching sport, playing golf, bit of Call of Duty in there every now and then. Yeah, I've become quite good at switching off when I need to, which is really nice for me. It's nice to get your yeah, to leave work at work, and to make sure that you enjoy your personal life whilst yeah, otherwise it can sort of engulf you, and before you know it, you're actually in a worse place than what you are, or what you're in a worse place than where you think you are. So yeah, it's been nice to be able to learn that every day is a new day and there's always an opportunity around the corner.
Then, in terms of your kit, do you have a sort of preference in weight of bat or shape of bat? Like, do you use a short blade bat as well?
Yeah, I used well, I did use a short blade. All my bats are short blades, apart from I stole one from one of the Indian boys as I left the IPL, and I have played every white ball game of the summer with it, and I literally can't let it go. So yeah, that's a normal handle. Actually, that's a normal blade, normal handle. So maybe it's time to go back to normal bats, but I don't really care about weight. I'm not very specific on it. I basically have a shape that I like. I want them to be as big as possible. And basically, when I tap down and look at my bat, I want it to be big to make sure that I've got the confidence in clearing a man at long on who's 80 meters away. So, yeah, it's not something I'm too picky about. And if I get a good bat, I try and keep it as long as possible. And whether it's filled with tape and
Yeah.
cracks in it and edges missing and stuff, I will. The bat currently that I'm using, the handle actually snapped and it's basically in two pieces, super glued together and taped together. So how it's still going, I'll never know. But I've managed to look after it well enough, and hopefully, I'll be able to steal another one off him in the next couple of days, and yeah, I can play with this one until it breaks properly, and then we can restart with a new one.
And then just to finish, so just a bit on people you faced and played against. So who's the quickest bowler you've faced?
I think this is very different, because white ball cricket, you can give it the old "I'm giving myself room," when actually you're quite scared and backing away. The quickest, I think,
I suppose Joffa in nets probably isn't too nice.
yeah, I faced Joffa in a warm-up game actually in South Africa, in a white ball game, and he was disgusting. And he's got quite a nasty streak in him as well, and he wants to hurt you, which isn't very nice. So yeah, I guess Joff is actually probably up there. Billy Stanlake with a white ball was rapid, quite a lot of bounce as well. But if you swing hard enough and get hold of it, the ball actually goes quite far. So yeah, I faced Tino Best with a red ball. He bowled pretty quick. I wound him up when he was batting, which wasn't the greatest idea of mine. And he bowled pretty quick. Yeah, Marchant Delanga bowled quite quick this summer.
Yeah.
There was a couple of balls from him. He bowled me a bouncer actually that was on helmet cam that was probably as rushed as I've been all summer. Thankfully, I got a top edge before it hit me between the eyes. But no, I think if you face someone in red ball cricket, they're much quicker where you've got to get in line and duck underneath the short ball rather than just swinging at it and hoping you get a bit of bat on it and it goes for six. So yeah, it's got to be someone, probably Tino in a red ball game. Yeah, I don't think I've faced many quicker.
And who's the toughest bowler? So it might not necessarily be the quickest, but the sort of hardest to face.
I've faced Jimmy many a times in the nets, and he is impossible to hit. He is pretty much as close to a genius as I've ever seen. But certainly, white ball cricket wise, Rashid Khan is someone I've always had great battles against. I have no idea which way he's spinning it, and my theory on him is to hit him for as many as he can before he gets me out. So I've had some good battles with him. He's a great bloke as well. He loves a challenge. So yeah, it's always good fun coming up against him and having a battle with him. And yeah, as it goes, he's probably the hardest bowler to pick in the world at the moment. So yeah, he's probably the greatest challenge.
And your favourite ground in the world?
This is such a tough question. There's so many cool cricket grounds to play at. I actually had probably the perfect winter of Cape Town straight onto Perth. I love Old Trafford because it's home. Lords is such a phenomenal ground just because it's Lords. If you were to say to me you've got one game of cricket left and you can choose one ground to play at, it'd be a very difficult question. There is so many cool grounds. I'll tell you my top three: Old Trafford, Newlands, and Optus. But yeah, Lords is just such a cool ground because it's Lords. The ovals, yeah, there's so many cool grounds. We're very lucky that we play at some phenomenal stadiums in world cricket. But yeah, they're probably there's some cool grounds in India as well, Mumbai and Bangalore. Yeah, there's a lot of that one in Ahmedabad where there's 120,000 people in. Yeah, every ground there's a lot of good grounds that are very special for a certain reason. Old Trafford would probably be my favorite because it's home. But yeah, there's certainly some cool grounds that I've played at in my career.
And then your sort of favourite memory to date in cricket?
Winning tournaments is always special, so maybe the 25 T20 Blast win. The day and the night, being such a young kid, I didn't really. It was my first year of professional cricket, so yeah, probably that and my England debuts. You only get to make your debut once, so
Yeah.
probably the two debuts.
And your best mate in cricket?
We've got quite a nice little group. I played a lot of Lions cricket with the Curran brothers and Joe Clark. I still spend a lot of time with Joe away from cricket. So I'll probably say he's probably one of my best mates in cricket. But we've got a WhatsApp group as well. So probably spent a lot of time with Tom and Sam, and Joe's involved in that group as well. So yeah, it's a nice little group that you grow up playing against each other, and then it's nice to finally play with each other in Lions cricket. So, but yeah, probably my best mate is probably Joe. I spend a lot of time speaking to him, even when we're away.
He was
We
with
still stay in
last year
contact.
as well.
He was with Perth last year as well, so it was nice to spend some time with him there. But yeah, I've been good mates with him for 4 or 5 years now, and we spend a lot of time chatting rubbish and get each other through different quarantine periods, etc. So no, he's probably my best mate in cricket at the moment.
And then finally, the best player you've either played with or against. Quite a tricky one. You can go probably bowler and batter if you wanted to go two.
The best player. Do you know what? The best, the most talented player I've ever played with, I reckon, is Sanju Samson, who plays at Rajasthan. The way he hits a cricket ball is phenomenal. I don't think he's quite got the best out of his ability yet, but I think he will in the years to come. The best player. I played with Babar at Karachi, who technically is probably one of the best players I've ever played with. But if I was to build a team around someone, I'd probably have Joss in there as my first draft pick. Bowling wise, do you know what? I've played with some very good bowlers over the years, but having played with Adam Milne in the 100, what he did as a seamer in a tournament where seam got smacked was pretty phenomenal, and even more so in a big pressure games. He bowled 10 balls at the end of the final group game against the Superchargers, and then I think he went for 8 runs in the final. So yeah, if you give me one batter and one bowler to build my team around in world cricket at the moment, let's go with Adam Milne and Joss.
Nice. No, excellent. Thanks very much for giving your time up today and jumping on. It's been great
Pleasure, mate.
insight into professional cricket.
No worries, my pleasure.